We disagree, and the constitutional lawyer in the Oval Office disagrees with that conclusion from the Supreme Court.
Well, that's White House Press Secretary Josh Earnest today, reacting to a major Supreme Court decision smacking down part of Obamacare. The High Court ruling that the feds cannot force some business owners to provide coverage for drugs that terminate a fertilized egg if they object on religious grounds. Just the latest in a series of dramatic court setbacks for the White House. Joining me now, Judge Napolitano, who's our Fox News senior judicial analyst, and Josh Hawley is one of the attorneys representing the owners of Hobby Lobby, who had a big victory today. Thank you both for being here. Judge, let me start with you. The con law professor in the Oval Office disagrees.
Well, you know, they like to drag that out when they want to sort of bolster the president's credibility in matters of law. But the point is, he's been wrong so many times, even not today, but last week. He was rebuffed by the Supreme Court unanimously, including two of his appointees, one of whom worked for him in the White House, Justice Kagan.
Right.
He is not a constitutional scholar. If he was, he's forgotten what he's known. He has pressed on this Supreme Court arguments about the relationship of the presidency to the Congress and arguments about the relationship of the Congress to individuals, which have been profoundly rejected.
Josh, let me ask you, because in the case of Hobby Lobby, it's an evangelical company. They did not want to have to pay for these particular drugs. They paid for 16 others, but they didn't want to pay for these 4 that do what I said in the intro. In response, the left has come out. This is an example, the National Organization for Women. The court has lent its weight to the radical right's war on women, talking about how now they want to take away coverage, birth control coverage, from millions of women.
Not at all true. I mean, as a matter of fact, Hobby Lobby already provides and pays for, covers 16 out of the 20 forms of contraception that are legally available in this country, Megan. And as today's decision makes clear, the government has ample alternative means to make the 4 forms of contraception that we're talking about in this case available to women without cost who want it. So this case really has nothing to do with access to contraception. This case is about religious liberty.
Just to make clear, Josh, for the history of Hobby Lobby, have the women ever gotten coverage of those 4 drugs?
There was a time in the past when the Green family unknowingly covered 1 or 2 of those drugs, Megan, without realizing that they did, in fact, operate as abortion-inducing drugs. But here's another fact that's important to know. Hobby Lobby has provided contraceptive coverage for its female employees under their health care plans for years and years, long before the Affordable Care Act.
So you're not taking anything away that hasn't been taken away for some time. Judge, let me ask you, because the question is whether this court is prepared to slap back an overreaching administration, as we've seen 13 unanimous decisions against it in recent past.
This court is not only prepared to slap back an overreaching administration, it has done so in profound ways. Just in the past 2 weeks, they suffered egregious slapbacks. The president claimed that he could put a nominee through the Senate by putting the person's name on the hopper on a Saturday when the Senate wasn't in session, and somehow that counted as a recess appointment. 9-0 against him on that. The president's Justice Department said that the police should be able to break into your cell phones when you get stopped for jaywalking. 9-0 on that one. The president claims that his Secretary of Health and Human Services can tell people what to do with respect to their religious liberties. This case we're talking about now, 5-4 against that one. The president joined the lawsuit involving home health care aides in Chicago taking care of their children at home, and the state forcing them to join labor unions. 5-4 against that one. This court has not hesitated to slap down this president.
Josh, let me ask you quickly. The word is possibly Hobby Lobby won't have to pay for these contraceptives, but the American people now might. Is that true?
Well, Megan, the government has multiple options before it. The thing that is clear from today's opinion is what the government cannot do is ask people of faith to check their religious convictions before going into business, and it cannot force people of faith to pay for drugs that severely burden their religious liberty. So now the next move is up to the Obama administration, but violating people's religious liberty rights is off the table.
Gentlemen, thank you both.
You're welcome.
Well, as soon as this Supreme Court ruling came out, a chorus on the left started about a war on women. I gave you a taste of it there. Tonight, one of the most powerful women from the world of business says that is nonsense, and she's had about enough of it. Carly Fiorina is next.